This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning for September 15, 2023, St. James, a woman charged with murder. A 42-year-old woman has been charged after she reportedly stabbed a man to death during an altercation in St. James on Monday. Charged is Sharon Thompson, otherwise called Tanisha, of Farm Heights, Montego Bay in the parish. Dead is a 32-year-old Dominic Poyer, otherwise called the White Guy, of Ryan Park, also in St. James. Reports from the Montego Bay police are that about 7:15 a.m., Poyer and Thompson had a dispute when a knife was used to inflict stab wounds to Poyer's upper body. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. She was arrested and subsequently charged. Man accused of shooting woman in Tivoli Gardens charged. A man has been charged after he allegedly shot a woman in her torso in his community of Tivoli Gardens, Kingston last month. Charged with shooting with intent, possession of a prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and making use of a firearm to commit a felony is the 36-year-old Desbert Bogle, otherwise called Marvin, of a Dracket Place, Tivoli Gardens in the parish. Reports are that about 1 a.m., an explosion was heard coming from a woman's house. The police were summoned and the woman was seen inside a room with a gunshot wound to the torso. She was taken to the hospital where she was admitted in critical condition. On Monday, September 11, Bogle turned himself in to the police. He was charged on Wednesday, September 13, after a question and answer session. St. Anne man charged for 2 robberies. A man was on Wednesday slapped with 2 sets of charges after he was allegedly caught on camera committing 2 robberies on 2 different days in Oteria, St. Anne. Trey Donovan, 24, otherwise called the Tall Man, and the Titty Bull from Pimento Walk in Oterias. Donovan is charged with 2 separate counts of robbery with aggravation, possession of a prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and using a firearm to commit a felony. The police have not given a court date for the accused man. It was reported that on September 3 and 4, 2023, men armed with guns went to Milford Road and the Great Pond and committed the robberies. Donovan, who was seen on surveillance cameras, was subsequently held and gave a caution statement admitting to the crimes, the police said. He was later charged. Lifeguard allegedly kills a brother during argument over bills. A 24-year-old lifeguard is in custody on suspicion of murdering his brother during an altercation on Tuesday afternoon at their home in Catherine Mount, Montego Bay, St. James. The accused turned himself in to the police shortly after 30-year-old waiter O'Shane Bailey was choked to death. It is reported that the men had an argument over bills which became physical. The accused reportedly held his brother in a chokehold until he became lifeless. He then made a report to the police about the incident. Police probe suspected suicide of hotel executive chef. The St. James police have launched an investigation into the suspected suicide of 55-year-old Arturo Eduardo Villa Saraga, a Mexican national who was on the island working with one of the major all-inclusive resorts in Rose Hall. It is reported that Saraga's body was found hanging with an electric cord around his neck, tied to his closet in his apartment at approximately 7:30 a.m. on Thursday. It is also reported that he left a note stating he was being treated like an animal. However, the police did not confirm that a note was found with his body. The police say there was no sign of forced entry into the deceased apartment or any signs of violence observed. Man fatally shot in Bogwalk, Gorge identified as ex-Klansman Wandon defendant. A man who was killed by police on Wednesday during an alleged shootout at the Bogwalk Gorge in St. Catherine is believed to be alleged Klansman Wandon gang member Damien Elliston, who was last May freed during the gang trial. The 27-year-old livestock farmer was among the 4 persons who were first freed of being members of a criminal organization after the prosecution indicated that there was insufficient evidence to prove that they were gang members. However, shortly after his release, Elliston was rearrested and charged with illegal possession of a firearm and ammunition in relation to an Intratec submachine gun and a 9mm pistol, but was subsequently granted bail. Head of the St. Catherine North Police Division, Senior Superintendent of Police Howard Chambers, when contacted on Wednesday, indicated that while the deceased is said to be Elliston, the police are still trying to confirm his identity. According to Chambers, the now deceased was among a group of persons who reportedly went to the Riversdale community and shot and killed another man whose identity had not yet been confirmed. The man who was killed in Riversdale and was identified by residents as Dwayne Brown, otherwise called the Thelma Boy, is also said to have been a violence producer in the Bogwalk area. Brown had reportedly been approached around 11:50 a.m. by two men on foot. After a short conversation, one of the men pulled a firearm and shot Brown repeatedly. The assailant then escaped in a waiting motor vehicle identified as a Toyota Wish. Following his death, police, acting on information, went in search of the vehicle. On scene, the police, the alleged perpetrators, in a bid to escape, collided with a truck before alighting from the vehicle and firing at the lawmen. The police fired back at the men, and one was shot and killed, while two others escaped. A female who was reportedly in the vehicle was accosted. An illegal weapon was also reportedly found in the car. The incident occurred around 1 p.m., but up till late in the evening, a police team assisted by the Jamaica Defense Force was still combing the area for the two alleged accomplices. Prior to Elliston's release, he had spent 5 years and 5 months in custody. In an interview with the news at the Supreme Court after he was freed, he denied any involvement in criminal activities or ever been a gang member. A bare false charges, he had said then. According to him, his only wish was to see his 6-year-old daughter, who had not seen him for most of her life. Elliston, during that interview, advised the youths who were contemplating getting involved in crime to choose another route. Badness no pain none at all. Just stay in a school like Cartel say, and get your education and make your parents proud. Elliston was among 32 males, including alleged gang leader Andre Blackman Bryan and a woman, Stephanie Christie, who were charged on an indictment with 25 counts under the Criminal Justice Suppression of Criminal Organizations Act and the Firearms Act for crimes allegedly committed between 2015 and 2019. But following the trial's completion, only 15 persons were convicted, including Blackman and Christie. The sentencing, which has been delayed, is scheduled for September 25. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.